Hello everybody and welcome into our latest live video. It's Mitch and Carey and we're here to build a heck of a PC. This is going to be like a flagship build with the 14900K, the latest processor from Intel. Don't buy it. It's just the 13th gen. We've got a bequiet cooler here that bequiet has sent us to review, and I thought, let's see if it'll keep this bad boy cool. We've got a Gen 5 NVMe drive there, the T700 from Crucial. We've got some DDR5 RGB RAM. And we've got the brand new ASRock Phantom Z790 Riptide Wi-Fi 7 motherboard. So we'll be able to use Wi-Fi 7. Got the Wi-Fi 7 router back in like May, okay, maybe before that, April. So still haven't been able to use it. And it's funny because they're still calling anybody who wants Wi-Fi 7 an early adopter. So what does that make me? Premature adopter?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Today it is Friday, the 3rd of November, 2023.
Don't we go on Daylight Savings Sunday? Or we don't, Arizona doesn't, but everyone else does on the 5th.
Europe, I guess, last week.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But for us, time to roll those clocks back an hour Saturday night, I guess, before you go to bed, wind that clock back an hour.
Yep.
Our time will change because of that. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep broadcasting at 1 o'clock Arizona or Phoenix time.
Mountain Standard, yeah.
And half of the year, that matches Pacific time.
Yep. So
for the summer, for the spring and summer, the time for Arizona is the same for California, Nevada, a couple other states. But then when daylight saving comes around in the fall, in Nevada and California and all the others roll back their clock 1 hour, we don't. Our 1 o'clock is still 1 o'clock, but it becomes noon California. In California, Pacific time is always 3 hours behind Eastern time because Eastern time will also roll their clock back an hour. So when California goes back an hour and Eastern time goes back an hour and we don't, what that means is instead of being on the same time of California, we'll be an hour ahead of California. And instead of being 3 hours behind Eastern, we're only 2 hours behind Eastern. So it gets a little confusing. So because the majority of our viewers are watching us obviously on the East or West Coast, the time may change for you. So 1 o'clock will become noon if you're in California. The 4 o'clock start time will become 3 o'clock on the Eastern time.
So you really got to hit that notification bell to get notified.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get the notification button, then you'll get the alerts, but you'll get used to it.
Yeah.
I was on the fence about whether or not to adjust to keep it at 1 p.m. Pacific, but that means I'd have to start at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And then our sun's going down at like 5:30.
Yeah.
So it doesn't give me a lot of time with regards to studio lighting. So I'd have to really rely on the studio lighting.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes. Everybody, when I mentioned it the other day, they said, it's fine. We'll accommodate to you. Keep it the same. I'd hate to start that late. Because at least now when we wrap things up, I still have time to like hit FedEx before they close and stuff like that. Speaking of which, thanks to Mortant 1210 with this generous contribution, we were able to send out a veteran giveaway to somebody who's been on a wait list. And hopefully he'll get that Monday. I also want to thank our good friend Jack Wilson, who contributed $200 via PayPal. Thank you so much, Jack, for your continued support and generosity. And I think that's going to justify a couple more veteran giveaways this week. We are looking for veterans specifically and veterans in need, not somebody looking for an extra computer or looking for a computer for a friend, somebody who will directly benefit from having a more modern machine. These aren't brand new computers. These are off lease. They're 6th gen i5s. They're the HP minis. They've got Windows 10. They run super fast. They're really quiet. They're great for everything but gaming. Quite frankly. Yeah, basically one of these over here. And we still have a stack of those to give away. And I want to give them away before Windows 10 expires, and then they're not really that good anymore. unless you want to put Linux on them, or who knows, if Microsoft comes out with a Windows 12 and they reduce the installation requirements, they might get longer legs.
Yep.
But still, 2 years is a long time. And as I mentioned, they're very, very quiet. They're very responsive. So we'll talk more about that later in the week. I can only do so much. And that's why I wasn't broadcasting yesterday. I had to get computers finalized, packaged, take them over to FedEx, get them shipped, get the receipts, scan the receipts. It's a whole thing. And hopefully they'll arrive okay. These things, I don't worry too much with the mini ones because there's really nothing to break in them unless they drive a truck over it. I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
Anything exciting going on in your world?
No. I mean, plan on riding a motorcycle, probably not tomorrow, but Sunday. Take a ride up to Cave Creek and go to the Dairy Queen, get myself a hot fudge sundae, you know. That's kind of nice. I'm already, you know, trying to figure out where to go next. So
Next road trip?
Yeah. Next actual travel, you know, whether Scotland, Ireland.
Oh, the big travel.
Yeah, Africa, or I don't know. Gotta think. Australia, again, at least Australia, Scotland, and Ireland, they speak English. You might not be able to understand with that heavy accent, but
they'll say you're the one with the heavy accent.
Yeah.
That's a great way to test if we fixed your NAS. If you haven't been paying attention, every time Mitch leaves the country, his whole network seems to go down.
Yeah. It's those gremlins, yeah.
And he can visit family in a neighboring state and be gone for a few weeks. No problem.
Yeah.
But then he leaves the country and it's almost immediately.
That power supply, you know.
Well, we'll see how it handles it this time.
Yeah.
Ben Laird just contributed £10 in Super
Hey.
Chat. He goes from a British Army veteran. Well, right on. Thank you, Ben. Ben joins us from Scotland. And in Ireland is Paul O'Brien, who contributed €2. And he says, let's prep this board. Yeah, that's what we're going to do today. Shout out to everybody joining us in the chat. Hope you're having a great Friday. There's Ben Laird with a £2 contribution in Super Chat earlier.
We're still a little smidge warmer here than Phoenix than normal for this time of year. But I want to tell you, when the sun goes down, I mean, where you can sit out at a bar, have a cocktail and not need a coat or a sweatshirt or something. So it's delightful. But it's 80. It's supposed to be like 84, 85, and I'm like, it's normally not this warm in November.
It's going to be in the 90s this weekend.
Yeah. So.
Thank you, Ben. 3D Everything contributes $10 in Super Chat. Says hello, Carey, Marlena, and everyone in the chat. Welcome in. Thank you, 3D Everything. Rick Lakes joining us from Minnesota. Says hello, Carey, with a $5 Super Chat. Thank you, Rick. Peter Laycock, there's Buster. He contributes £10. He says, good evening, Carey and Marlena, Mitch, and everyone in the chat. All the best from Bonnie, Scotland, where the temperature in Edinburgh is 47 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 8 degrees Celsius.
That's a little cool, yeah.
Samuel Kowalski with $2 in Super Chat says hello, Carey, Marlena, and everyone in the chat. Hi, Samuel. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for contributing. BLD0550 with a $5 Super Chat says, here's $5 for more Gatorade. Running out. Got to load up. Mark Gaines. Did I say that one already? Mark Gaines joins us from Northern Ireland. Mark also gave us a very generous contribution the other day, a very nice Amazon gift card. He contributes £5. He says, hello, Carey and Mitch and everyone in the chat. Slanshaw Mark. Ian Gooch, speaking of England, contributes £10. He goes, hello, Carey and Mitch. Good to see you both from London, where it's a cool 48 degrees Fahrenheit, just recovering from a storm where 80 to 90 mile an hour winds and flooding. Woo.
Can you stand up in 80? I don't think you can even stand up in 80 mile an hour.
Mara couldn't. She'd be. She can barely stand up if there's a light breeze.
Yeah.
Did I catch us?
I think you're all caught up. Yeah.
And then let me just check my phone one time before we get this underway. Yeah, again, thank you. Very generous contribution from our our good friend John Jack Wilson. And we have some mini PCs coming in that look very interesting. So we got that going on. I was just looking at my emails got a couple emails from mini PC manufacturers that say they're sending some on the way. And I'm not exactly sure what case and what power supply I'm going to use on this build, which is why I don't believe we've got anything listed in video notes for that. My goal is I want to get this to a customer. This customer claims they need all the power they can get. I disagree. So I'm like, all right, well, we'll build one and see if what they're saying is true. So I want to get them the best of everything. My ultimate goal is to put this in a Corsair 200R case, which kind of makes it silly to have a cooler like this with RGB on it. But I don't intend to keep the RGB RAM. I think that's 32 gigs of RAM. We're just going to do that for prepping the board. I want to get 64 gigs of RAM, in 2 sticks with no RGB, and that should be arriving next week. And if this cooler will keep that chip cool, then I'll figure what power supply I'll put in there.
What are you thinking, 750? 750?
I don't think it'll need that much, unless I put a discrete graphics card.
Oh.
The customer wants to start using 3 monitors as standard now.
Okay.
For business stuff. And we'll have to look at how many video outputs.
Yeah.
Because if the motherboard has 3 video outputs, we're good. If it doesn't, we might have to add a very inexpensive GPU to it, in which case I may need a little bit more extra
oomph. Yeah, a little more oomph
on the power supply.
Yeah.
And then hopefully it all fits in the 200R. This customer is going to need 2 more computers from me by December, so we're way early on building this. And
you only have two 200Rs left.
That's it.
And then there.
Well, then I have 2 110Qs after that, which were my standbys.
Right.
And after that, yeah, I don't have any other customers waiting though. So once these 2 are sold, there's another customer that is talking about replacing the 2 they've got. But I asked what's wrong with them, and they said nothing. And I said, well, maybe you want to wait till 2025, 2015?
Yeah.
2025, and have this discussion then. Because if they're not having any problems with the computers, and their only concern is, well, it's Windows 10 and it's getting old. It isn't. It absolutely isn't. The 2 years is a very long time. So if it's not giving you any grief and you're able to do your work, everything's fine. There's no reason to invent problems. And in the year 2025, we'll have that whole year to replace those computers. I'm a terrible salesman, aren't I? I should be like, yeah, you should absolutely get brand new machines because those are 6 years old and that's reason enough.
Yeah. Speed. You must have more speed.
You must spend more money to get a new, and take something that's working and put in something brand new that you have to configure and work all the little speed bumps out of. So my thanks to the folks at Bequiet for sending us the Dark Rock Elite. This is a 280 TDP. We'll see if that's true. You'll see the packaging. Look at ooh and ah on the 14900, the i9.
Okay, yeah.
Top of the line. That is the Crucial T700. That's a 2 terabyte. See, when this customer says that they want the best, I don't know if they mean the best as far as performance, or if they would have preferred, say, a 4th gen 4 terabyte one. I suspect they're going to be putting everything on their NAS and don't need a lot of storage and would rather have the speed. And then, of course, the OLOY RAM, which you've seen me use before. So where we're really focusing on in today's video are parts that are, these parts have just been released. The phantomgaming Z790 Riptide Wi-Fi is a board designed for 14th gen. It has Wi-Fi 7 networking built into it. The Dark Rock Elite also just came out, and the 14900K just came out. All this stuff we've reviewed before. Everything else, as far as case, power supply, whatever we decide to do, it's not going to be anything new or something we haven't already covered before. So we're going to focus today's video on these 3 brand new components, cutting edge, and yeah. You want to get that unboxed?
Did you already cut it or no? It's factory hermetically sealed.
I haven't done anything with it. That's how it arrived.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a piece of mail arrived. I'm going to come over here and open this mail.
Okay.
I think this is one of the mini pieces.
Ah.
I don't know which one, though.
Any idea what this board goes for?
$250.
Ah, a bargain.
Yeah, it is a really good deal when you consider if you wanted to get a board that was using DDR4 RAM from ASRock, it'd be about $129 and not have the built-in Wi-Fi.
All right. Here we go. What do we got in the box? They sound like Brad Pitt in the movie Seven. What's in the box? Okay. Here. Motherboard. Put that there for right now. Let's see what's underneath. And
That's
2 boxes of stuff. Yeah. We got
all the Wi-Fi antenna.
antennas, SATA. Yeah.
Yep.
What's that again? A little.
It's like a temperature sensor. We can take this piece of cardboard right here.
Right. And we got our manual. There, I was looking for the go fasters. I was looking for the go
We
fasters.
should have the little bags of screws in there too, don't we? No? No little bags of screws?
Uh-oh.
Oh, maybe they got those
Yeah.
little clippy deals.
Could be.
So the other thing I like to do is I just rip this piece off of there. Just twist it.
Oh,
There you go.
didn't have my Wheaties this morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so. And we got our board here. Let's see. They used to tape them, you know? It's funny that they don't a lot of times now.
Well, they also use zip ties. No zip ties on this one. Oh, yeah, there is. Spoke too soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. And I'll have you unzip with your magic clippy clip. See, we're getting very technical here. All right. So,
Let's see. Go ahead and set it flat. And I don't have to worry about it falling out. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. You think that's enough to hold it in place? This one.
and my short eyeballs. Okay.
And then there should be, I think there's probably some plastic. Likely. You know, they don't give you anything, like usually there's like a little tab you can pull from. I see plastic on it.
Not much. You know.
All right. So let's take a look at what we get on this board.
Kind of like the RAM. Don't bend it around.
You can go ahead and leave it in there
Yeah.
for right now. I'm going to grab the close-up camera,
Okay.
which I should have charged up. There for a minute. And then I'm going to step over here, trying to be the producer and the cameraman at the same
Okay.
time. Probably, but not just yet. And close-up camera on. There we go. So we can get a close-up. This is DDR5.
14th gen you're putting in
Yeah,
there?
14. Well, it's a 14. This board was specifically designed for 14 gen. Got that extra mounting hole there that's interesting. And this is how they've added the Wi-Fi right here. And oh, the heat sinks. Look how many heat sinks we've got. The big Gen 5 heat sink up here. Got a heat sink here.
So what are you thinking? 1, 2, possibly 3 NVMe?
Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Ooh.
Would be my guess.
Yep.
I'm sure it'll tell us if I read the spec. Let's go ahead and set it down and then spin it this way. And let's see what our I/O panel looks like. So we've got our Wi-Fi antennas. We've got an HDMI and display port. So we're only going to get 2 video outs on this. Although he could go USB video out of, if we wanted to avoid a GPU. We've got you see the little number 5? That means it's a 5 gig per second SSD there.
Okay.
10 gig per second SSD there. Then another 5 with the Type-C.
Could that Type-C do video out, you think, or?
Don't know. No. We've got 2.5 gig LAN built in, something called Lightning Gaming, and these are yellow. I don't know what these are. Mm-hmm. Audio output on this is pretty limited considering. Usually you'll get like surround sound options on a board at this level. But I did think the board was awfully aggressively priced at $250 for a brand new, just released motherboard. And what else?
Yeah, we got our RAM slots.
We've got 2 EPS power connectors here, which you should only have to use both of these if you're going to overclock. I wonder if you grab the screwdriver.
Okay, and you only have 2. Are those SATA? Or?
Those are 2 SATA, but there's also, turn the board around 180 degrees.
More?
Keep going. There's 6 SATA there, plus these 2 for a total of 8.
Okay.
Then we've got our USB 3 plug, our USB 3.1. We've got a fan header here. We've got a fan header here. We've got 2 fan headers for CPU fan there. And let's spin this. There's our front port audio. Another fan header. Not sure what that is. A couple of USB 2s. Another fan header. Our front panel connector. BIOS battery.
You said, I interrupted you. You said you want a screwdriver, or I mean?
Yeah, go ahead and take this. Let's take this big heatsink off and see what's lying underneath.
Standard Phillips, you think?
No, I would use the GIS driver. Probably will fit better, I'm guessing. Yeah.
And you want to remove this?
Yeah. Let's take that one out. I'm curious what's underneath that. And the other screw too. Sounds heavy. So we do have, oh, look at that. There's 2, one here and one there. See that?
Yep.
Got their 2 thermal tape, and then, yeah, they're using these little.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
They're not using screws anymore. That's a welcome change.
Yeah.
So we know we've got at least one under here. This one, I think, you slide this forward. Check this out, Mitch.
Okay.
Slide this forward and then lift up.
Look at that.
And then that's your Gen 5 heatsink. That's our M.2 there. So there is only one under here. On other boards like this, they have one going the other way for Gen 4.
Yeah.
But that is completely toolless. If you look, there's a little clip here.
Yep.
And so what you'll do is take this piece and slide it in.
Okay.
It's hard for me to do this one-handed. That's it. That's all there is to putting that on. No
Nice.
screwdriver needed. And then under here, we'll obviously have two.
Yep.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 M.2s.
Twos.
There we go. And I think these all run at Gen 4.
Okay.
And then that one's a Gen 5. And you'll see we're kind of limited with slots, right? We've got the one major PCIe slot, and we've got another one here, then we have a smaller one here. That's because with our audio or networking and our Wi-Fi already built in, these aren't things you would be adding cards for.
Right.
So, yeah. All right, let me go back over to camera one. What do you guys in the chat room think of that board? For 250?
For 250,
That's not bad.
I'm liking it.
Not bad at all. What are they saying in the chat? Swing that screen over here so I can read it. Slick, they say. Bradley Morris says, you got a nice t-shirt, Mitch.
Number 48.
Mortant says, nice looking motherboard. Yeah, it'd be kind of a shame no one's ever going to see it if it goes on the $200.
Yeah.
But it'll be used for work and to generate money.
That's Monet. All right, yeah.
Monet.
Monet.
Count the money.
Count the money. That's.
I think I will put this back on because I don't think we're going to
Watch the
use
screws.
these.
I don't know whether they're.
Oh, no, they're captive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those screws
Okay.
are on you.
I was nervous. Yeah.
And then, what does this say? M.2 armor.
If you can read this, you're too close. All right.
Guess that went on like that. Oh, that does kind of give you a guide there. They were just talking before the show that these 80-year-old rock stars all have new albums coming out.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones have a new album out. The Beatles just released a brand new song today.
Their last one? Yeah.
Or no, yesterday. I think it was yesterday. They were starting to work on that in the 90s, and they just didn't quite have the technology there. And because Peter Jackson did that documentary, Get Back, Peter Jackson mentioned, I can clean up that. It pulled John Lennon's voice away from the piano. And they weren't able to really do that in the 90s when they when they released those two, Free as a Bird
and the other one, yeah.
Yeah, and this was a third one they were working on, but they just couldn't quite get there. So they said this is absolutely the last song from the Beatles, but it's very slow. In fact, a lot of the Rolling Stones music is slow and kind of. It's just weird to be 80 years old and be rocking.
Yeah.
And then Duran has a brand new album. Not that they're 80 years old, thank goodness. But they've got a brand new album out as well. So fascinating to me that it
still chugging along,
My dad turns 80 today. It's his birthday. Happy birthday to my dad. And he's nowhere near in the kind of shape Mick Jagger or Paul McCartney are in, I'll tell you that. So, yeah. All right. What do you want to start with? You think?
We always the CPU, right?
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking. Can I pull it out of this styrofoam or just leave it in? Just leave it.
So the flagship Intel CPUs come in the special packaging, and you better believe you pay extra for it. In fact, when you see the price go down, and it will in time on the 14900K, typically when the price goes down, it goes into a regular standard CPU box that Intel sells all the other chips in. So part of the deal is you're paying for this packaging, which is still way better than that octagon. Remember that thing?
It's landfill waste.
So this is the 14900K. So here's the thing. There is a 13900KS, right? Which also this will hit 6 gigahertz. That'll hit 6 gigahertz. This is like $600. You want to guess how much a 13900KS chip is?
$100.
$729, I think, is what Amazon had it at.
Mm.
And yeah, good luck keeping it cool. You're gonna have to have a very unique cooling solution. Any of these chips that end in the letter K do not come with a cooler. You're on your own. And some of them are going to suck up a lot of power, generate a lot of heat. That's how they're hitting, 6 gigahertz.
Integrated graphics, though.
We do have integrated GPU in here, which you don't have to use if you don't want to, but it's nice to have, and we will be using it. This opens, apparently. Oh, that's pretty easy. It's closed with a magnet.
Ooh.
See if Uncle Mitch can figure that out.
Oh, I got you.
There he goes. Yeah, no, you're fine. Yeah. So this is the little package it comes in, and then we have an envelope in here with our documentation and Go Faster sticker. And so this looks like the die that they make CPUs out of. They make these wafers on lithography machines, and each one of those little squares represents a CPU. So on one wafer, they get, a few dozen CPUs out of it. But if there's the slightest little flaw, everything's so microscopic, even a speck of dust would be like a mountain, and it would ruin the die. But they can cut away the bad dies. And they test these dies, and they can bend them so that if, even though they're all built the same and on the same wafer, some may clock higher than others. Some may have faster memory controllers than others. And those are how they label them as KS, or even if they hit the K designation. And this somehow opens. Probably just pulls apart. Ooh. There's our chip. They give you that little indent. Put your finger in that over there and pull that out. But that is the brand new, just released 14900K. You do see the triangle there in the bottom right corner. That's to indicate what orientation the chip goes in on the motherboard. I don't know what this little hole right here is for. Little hole right there?
Yeah.
So here's $600. Don't drop it. And I don't know what that hole.
Les wants to know, is this Toto shirt a collector's? No. I mean, you can still get it probably on Toto's website, toto99.com.
Hey, camera girl. I think it's time for you to get to work. Well, you can work on the thumbnail for that mini PC later. Okay.
Where are your suction cups? I forgot.
I keep them over here.
Oh, yeah. I was going to go. It's fun to use one of those bad boys. So,
well, I'll tell you, I'm going to show you another way.
Okay.
That I've been ignoring it. And so therefore I haven't drawn any attention to it. Are you ready with the close-up camera?
Houses.
Okay, come on over. So if we look down at this socket, if we open this up, this has to go up that way. Do you notice right here and on the other side how it dips down?
Yeah.
And do you notice how in the package, how there's cutaways here and here?
Mm-hmm. Wings. No, that's Red Bull. Okay,
so
yeah.
the idea is when you open the package, you stick your fingers in where those holes are.
Okay.
And you grab the chip like that.
Okay.
And then when you put the chip in, you just want to make sure, let me get my glasses so I can see. You just want to make sure that the triangles line up. And for us, like if I close this back down, you see a triangle on it anywhere? Right here. See the triangle?
Yep.
So when you're holding the chip, the way you've taken it out of the package, You'll also notice the same indents on each side of the socket. So all you have to do is let your fingers go to those spots.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that?
Yep.
And we can let that line up and just gently let it down, and it just falls right in. There it goes.
Yep.
And that's, didn't even need the suction cups that way.
Mm.
See the socket, I don't know how well you can zoom in there, but the socket,
Hips,
little wall of the socket goes down. That's exactly where
your fingers,
where these cutouts are here. So it's intended that you don't have to shift it around in your hands. You just have to make sure you have the orientation correct. And then we can take this little plastic piece off that covers our pins. These used to pop off automatically with the older generations, but now we have to take these off by hand. And then you see how the metal wings out? Talk about wings.
Yep.
On each side. And you'll notice on the lid, that's the main thing that's going to put pressure down on top of the CPU and push it down into those 1700 pins below. And then this, you see there's like a bend in this right here. That's going to push down on how it looks like a fork at the end. So it pushes pressure down here on that fork, which puts equal pressure on each side. And this all has to be measured to a certain amount of Newton meters or something of torque that Intel engineers specify. The manufacturers must be within a certain range of pressure or the CPU won't make contact properly. And also, if the CPU is pressed down too hard, it makes it below this frame, meaning that your CPU cooler then may not be making full contact. So then the CPU cooler manufacturers also have to have a certain amount of pressure on top of the CPU. It can't be too little, it can't be too much. It's not just a matter of slapping a cooler on. There's so much more involved that people don't think about because it's all that's been done for them in order for the product to be approved. It has to meet the pressure requirements.
And how much was this again?
$600 for that chip.
Yep.
And normally, I say I won't spend more than $500 on a chip, but now with inflation, I guess 600. I'm definitely not paying the 700 plus for a 13900 KS. These things are power hogs. They generate a lot of heat. Of course, you can get more power if you want to consume more power. You can generate more frequency. It's not rocket science. It's sort of like I can build you a really fast car, but it's only going to get 6 miles to the gallon. It's not exactly ingenious. So now this, as I mentioned, you slide this forward and then pulls away. And then that's our Gen 5 heatsink. And you'll see we've got this little twisty turny thing right here, so we don't have to use screws anymore. This is the crucial Gen 5 NVMe. And the reason I picked this will do 12,400 megabytes per second. All the other Gen 5s I've looked at only do 10,000. Now here's the deal. A Gen 4 NVMe will go to 7450. So it's from 7450 to 10,000 is not a big jump. But from 10,000 to 12,400 is just about the same size of jump. So to me, that's more worthwhile to go to Gen 5. If I'm not hitting at least 12,000, you might as well just stay to Gen 4, in my opinion. And we should be able to get those numbers up to 15,000 once the technology starts catching up. Shouldn't be long. These sell for, I'd say a little under $300. Now, granted, you could buy a 2 terabyte Gen 3 drive for as little as $75. So you are going to pay for that performance.
Patient. Here it is. Cut the glare there.
Now, the heatsink that comes with a motherboard is far superior than any heatsink that comes with an NVMe drive. So if you're curious, if you're wondering, which heatsink should I use? Always use the one that comes with the motherboard. It's far superior. So save your money and don't buy the heatsink version because they usually charge, $20+ extra to get that heatsink. only to not use the heatsink.
Not doing so hot here, Uncle.
You should hold it like a book, where this is your, you know, your
Spine?
Yeah, that's the spine.
This is live.
We've got plastic tabs
Okay.
on all four sides, and then you'll see these indents. So they do intend for you to open this like a book.
All right, muscle. Okay.
You probably have it upside down. They probably actually want it open this way so that the thing doesn't fall out when you open it.
I knew that. I was just testing it. Okay.
And then once we break the corners free, right?
Yeah.
So you're not ripping it open and having the contents fly out. Just get the corners free, and then it'll gently open. Because you'll see once it's open like this, it'll just fall out. If you had it upside down, it would have fallen. Now, there's nothing fragile about this. It could survive a fall, easy peasy.
We got our little notchy here.
So in theory, this would go in this direction. It was in on a bit of an angle, and I kind of wiggle and push until the gold fingers are gone. And when I push this down here, somehow, some way, this rotates. There we go. And then I can rotate it one way or the other to lock it in. Just like that.
2 terabytes of Gen 5.
Now check this out. We can take this tape. That keeps all the dust and debris off of this thermal tape. I have to turn that in the right direction. That goes something like...
You were struggling before.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
It's only my second time doing
Well, you
it.
were doing it one-handed, too.
That's it.
Boom.
No screwdriver needed. How cool is that? You're smiling.
Yeah.
That's neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other ones you will have to use screws to at least take off the heat sinks, but at least they have that little quick disconnect. Which, boy, too bad they didn't start from day one with that.
Yeah. You know,
that should have been part of the standard.
those, you know, those little plastic baggies with the screws.
Yeah, exactly.
And the standoffs.
Yeah, and then if you don't remember to remove them, if you have to send the board back for an RMA for a return, you likely won't get them back.
This is such a big cooler. I'm just worried about it button up either here or here.
Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah. So, I mean, or even here. So, that special effects sounds.
George Lucas is on the phone.
Yeah.
He said, don't.
Yeah, don't.
All right. We'll keep all the empty boxes over there. Documentation.
And this just came out, the cooler.
Yeah. Bequiet recently, they reached out to me and, oops, I just put us on camera one again. There we go. How did I do that? Did I just tap the keyboard? Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Well,
okay.
So I'm going to put the RAM aside for now.
Scroll up. Down. No.
Go ahead.
Up. Yeah.
Other way.
Oh.
Mitch got off easy, they said.
Captain Blinsky. All right. Gee, I went to the gym yesterday. I was working out hard with those 5-pound dumbbells. Let me tell you.
Let's see. This is how this is packaged.
Okay.
Yes, this is all our mounting hardware.
Both AMD and Intel.
Yeah, this should cover everything. Except maybe Threadripper. And then, best way to get something big out of the box is to just turn the box upside down. Let gravity do the work for you. Look how well they packed that.
Yeah. What a monster. Okay.
Right? Look at this.
They even give you a screwdriver. Isn't that amazing? All right.
Cool.
Hey, Mitch.
With a magnetic thingy. I'm going technical. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right, let's see now. Let's that out. Oh my gosh, this thing is massive.
You won't have the clearance in the 200R, will you?
I don't know. Maybe.
You know, maybe it might. You know.
Okay, so we've got some more styrofoam underneath. What's this? See, there's there's magnets under here. So that's going to hide the screws. And then I see styrofoam right here. Oh, this whole piece, this whole center comes out. Oh, look at that.
Fan in the middle.
Whoa.
Isn't that snuffy?
And then we have some
You just love to peeled.
OCD.
Yeah.
So I guess this magnetically, see the little silver dots? Those are going to align for the, oh yeah.
Sweet.
So that's going to cover the screws. Now the question is, just out of curiosity, if we put that back, let's visualize before we commit to this. This would go on this direction. Oh, we have quite a bit of overlap on the RAM area here.
Oh.
But it does appear that it's just because of this fan. And based on how it looks, I wonder if that fan is adjusted, if we can raise it up high. Like I see there's something's falling off here. What is that? It's a staple. Why is there a staple? Oh boy, in my cooler. So I'm wondering, see how this has a groove? And it looks like, oh, look at that. You hear it clicking?
Yep.
So we can raise that fan up.
And then free up the.
Actually, I wouldn't need to go that high.
Right
So now.
Oh, that's plenty.
that-
Probably even one notch down, but
Yeah, I think so too. Right there.
Mhm.
Isn't that how it was?
Yep,
Or
yep.
no?
no, it
was lower,
It was
wasn't it?
yeah, it was flush.
That's right. This top was
Yeah, it was
flush.
flush, yeah.
So right about there.
Beautiful.
And then that makes sense to not
Yeah.
put RGB RAM in this.
Right.
I mean, we will today because that's all I have.
Okay.
But
Monster.
pretty nice cooler.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Well, you got the fan.
And
in
look,
middle,
the bottom bar is already attached for you, so you don't have to do that work.
Mhm.
I appreciate that. And it's even got the name on the side, so that when you slide this in, you can
Those
see.
are 140, correct? Those aren't 120s.
I believe these are 140s. But you see how it shows the name. You slide that piece in,
Okay.
and then the top will RGB up. That's why we have all these cables coming out here. We've got this has something to do with RGB here. This is our power. And that's an ARGB that'll plug into the motherboard.
Mm.
And then you can tie in all your RGB together, synchronize it. It's under $100, I think. And if this will keep the 14900 cool, we know it's going to be quiet, right? Because it's be quiet. What's the chat room say? Do you guys like it?
Dark Rock Elite.
Now they have another version of this cooler without the RGB. I'll show you that. David Moore contributes £3 in super chat. Thank you, David. And David Ice became a supporter. Right on. Thank you for becoming a member, David Ice. Paul Connolly with $2 Australian says, great channel. Thank you, Paul. Great viewers. And scroll. I just want to see if I missed anything else here. Mats Olof joins us from Sweden. Douglas Burchell's there in the chat is Bryce Hosking, as well as Bikeman and Andy Kane and Luke Greeny, Carlos Hernandez and Kurt Schlegel. Welcome in, guys. I want to show you the other cooler from Bequiet, which I think is the same cooler, but it has a slightly less TDP.
Somebody
and no
asked how
RGB.
many pipes. Let me think here. 1, 2, 3,
4, 5, 6, 7. Odd. Yeah, that is a pipe.
I think this is the same cooler, just lacking RGB.
Ah,
But it has a slightly lower TDP of 270. And in theory, either one of these should be okay for this build. So we will probably put this one on the 12900K that I'm having trouble cooling.
okay.
Maybe later this week or next, and we'll try this out. This one, hopefully, will do the job of keeping the 14900 cool, or 14900K, because I cannot put a liquid cooler in a $200.
Ah, yes.
Cool.
Beautiful. Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah. You ready, Doctor, for the glove? No.
No, not yet. We still have to put the back plate on.
Oh,
looking-
yeah, getting ahead of her.
Looking in our box of parts, let me move this stuff out of
AMD.
Yeah, go ahead and open that up and dump the contents out here. We should have mounting brackets for AMD chips and Intel chips of varying models. All right, so anything that says AMD, you can put right back because we're not using that. And let's see. Beth sent $25 via PayPal. She says, "Hi, Carey. I got a nice big early Christmas present today from FedEx." Oh, right on, Beth. Well, I hope it arrived in good shape, and
In one piece.
I can't wait till you get a chance to test drive it. Let me know what you think of it. How cool is that? Okay, so Intel. Oh, all right. I guess I was going to say it's chintzy, but actually, that's probably all Scythe gives us too. It's just a bigger syringe. All right, so we've got the back plate. We've got the support brackets. We'll definitely need these support brackets. And then for some reason, this is not in a Ziploc bag. Skizzers. Skizzers.
Right here.
Right in front of my face.
And you had your glasses.
And my glasses. All right, so we've got washers there.
Oh, yeah. Haven't seen that in a while. Yeah. Little baby washers. Yeah.
So looking at the documentation that they give us, it's one sheet. It's printed on both sides. Usually one side is Intel, one side is AMD. So if we look here, yeah, this says AMD AM5 or AM4 socket. You'll follow these steps. And this is the whole top half of this is just like what's in the box.
Parts list. And
Disclaimers. Really, that's just our instructions right there. So let's see what it says to do first.
you never read the instructions.
Now, well, when it comes to the sockets, you
Oh.
see that socket 1200, 1150, 1151, 1155, they want you to go to this position, but socket 1700, they want you to go to the far
Outside,
end. Yeah. So to do that, it says we want to use, first of all, this piece here, back plate. I don't think this has a front or a back. It wants us to put in these. For fixing the black back plate screws onto the Intel back plate, use the O-rings. Okay, so as it shows in the diagram, you'll use these screws, go into that position closest to the edge, and then put the rubber O-ring on it, and that'll keep it from falling out. So that's what we're about to do.
Just impressed you can read. Okay, so
I'm looking at the pictures.
Okay, okay.
with the little baby O-ring. That's so cute.
So these have like a square end on them, so that way they lock in.
Okay.
And then we grab the little
Baby O-rings.
the O-ring, and it's going to slip over the threads. There's a little groove for the O-ring to sit inside of. It's a pretty good idea, and that keeps the screw from falling out. I was just checking just to see if it says one side should be up or not. I think it's the same on both sides.
This side up? No.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to put that to the edge. Isn't an O-ring redundant? I mean, would it be a square ring or a rectangular ring?
Yeah.
So these are the thumb screws that are going to tighten down the they're going to tighten down this bracket is what they're going to do. And then these have holes in the top that then this bolts down to.
With our beautiful included bequiet magnetized screwdriver.
I think that's how they work. So these are going to go on top of this. Then that will go on top of that. And then these short screws will go in here. And then this piece bolts down to the center. There's only 2 screws that hold. There's 2 screws right under here. We'll line up with that.
Okay.
All right, so that's the direction we're moving in. That's pretty standard fare. I think bequiet has done a great improvement to their installation method. I know that was an issue I had with an earlier bequiet cooler. Cooler worked great and it was priced well, but it was, I thought, overly complicated to get installed. So I think they've made some great improvements in the.
I think it's going to cool it. What do you think, Chad? I believe it's.
You think it'll?
With the 2 fans.
You think so? It's a hot chip, though.
Yeah.
All right, so now take that, and it doesn't matter if we put this on like this or like that. It's the same on both sides, and you'll see that there are cutouts in the back here for the screws that hold the CPU socket in. But what we don't want to do is have it in sideways. So that's why these cutouts are there, so this doesn't warp the back plate when you tighten things down. So with that being held in position, set this back down. And now we can use these thumb screws. Sometimes they give you little washers. You can go ahead and...
You lost them.
Did one fall through?
Or you
Oh, it's the back plate.
Yeah.
I see. Well, here's the deal. If I tighten this one up, it should force the whole back plate up.
If you say so.
And it didn't.
Take 2. All right.
Take 27.
Yeah.
See, now I've over tightened it. That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what can happen, folks.
You don't have to necessarily go cross corner, though, do you? I mean, you could go around.
It's a good idea.
Okay.
It's a good idea that you want to get this back plate.
And you're not cinching them down. You're just finger tight. Yeah.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm still having an issue on this. Oh, I see. The O-ring is not holding it in anymore.
Oh.
O-ring, apparently I didn't put it on good enough. So I'm going to take it back off and double check. That's a user error.
Strike 1.
Because if the O-ring's not holding that screw, it'll just sit there and
Yeah.
spin and spin and spin. So let's take this back out and take a look here. Yeah, all the others stayed in place, but this one. And again, we've got to go to that outside edge. I've got it that time. Now, don't knock it off this time, Mitch.
Yes, sir.
You gonna catch it?
Yeah.
Seems like it's sitting funny. Yes, that's right.
You got to admit, for a beginner, this would seem a little overwhelming. So if
It's
you,
not, I mean, I've seen.
yeah, beginners, you know, if this was your first build, you're like, a lot of parts, you know.
I've done enough of these where this one is, if you think this is difficult, I mean, this one's cake compared to some of the other ones we've had to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to make sure we get these about even on all four sides, because, or all four corners, because we want to make sure that that back plate sits flush. Otherwise, when you mount your cooler on, your cooler could sit on an angle and you can't really tell. You'll just know your CPU's running hot. And believe it or not, the screwdriver they give us is a little too small for this job. See how it very easily slips out?
Yeah.
I feel like the head on that should be much wider. In fact, just out of curiosity, I wonder if a scythe driver is a better fit. The irony. A scythe driver. See, the tip on that's much bigger. Oh, that's a much better fit. Just going to tighten down opposite corners here. Side's tight. That side's tight. That side feels tight. Okay, so now, if we visualize how this is going to go on, right, then we know if we want the fan facing the RAM, then the screws to tighten it down need to go this direction, not this way. In other words, if I put this on like this, that will screw down, but unfortunately, that means we'd have to turn the cooler. So this is going to have to go on this way. Set this down. And that's what these last four screws are for here. That's going to be to batten down those brackets.
And the brackets always, you know, this wouldn't be like this.
No, because you would hit those capacitors.
Right. Yeah, so it's always the hump there.
And I'm going to be lazy and grab the electric driver here.
You got guts. All right, yeah.
No, on this part,
torque's only on 20. Okay.
it's set to 3. Yeah. I'm not quite sure which one of the holes I need to be in. I'll just pick one randomly and start it, and we'll get to the other side. Looks like it goes on the inside. Now these don't have to be torqued down. You know, once that driver stops, they're good enough. And then we're going to put the heatsink's going to screw down into these. So now this one, you know, it would not go in this way. It needs to go. They need to face each other, sort of like symmetry. Ooh. I could feel that one go in crooked, and I wanted to stop it immediately. Let's go to the other side. That's better. Because if you cross thread these, you're going to have a bad day. That's why you should turn these with a manual screwdriver. I'm just a little crazy.
Do as I say, not as I do.
A little.
Is that a short joke?
Yeah.
There it goes.
Okay.
So you see how I backed it off?
Yep.
Until it lined up correctly, rather than, you know, just using a lot of force, because then you strip it out. And, you know, that might be good the first time you tighten it. If you ever have to take it off and put it back on again, that's when you're going to start running into paying the dues for your impatience. Now, there's our back plate installed. And that is pretty much everything you need to prep to put this giant bequiet cooler. So taking another look at the bequiet cooler, We're going to leave this top half off for right now, so that what we're dealing with is this piece here. Kind of looks like a nodule in that way. And
And you think once it's on, you can squeeze the RAM, or you can lift that even higher and get, I don't know.
yeah, we probably should put the
The
RAM,
RAM in,
now.
that's kind of what I was
Yeah, I
thinking.
think
Yeah,
you're,
right.
I think you're right,
Right.
because if we put this
It's
in
on.
and then we want to put the RAM in afterwards,
Yeah.
that's going to get
Yeah,
difficult.
difficult.
Can you lower the can? Can you just bend down?
Yeah.
So just to get an idea
Yeah.
of how much overlap there is there.
Yeah, I'd put the RAM
So
in.
yeah,
there
let's do the
right
RAM
now.
first. Good thinking, Mitch. I knew there was a reason why I had
Yeah,
you here.
yeah, there was smoke coming out of my ears. Okay, let's see. All right, beautiful RAM. DDR5, okay.
Just slide the sleeve off. That's all
Ah,
there is to it. Ooh, shiny. And I think on these
guess what we're gonna see.
motherboards-
All right.
I think on these
All right.
motherboards we use the socket closest to the edge here, and then we skip one.
If you say so. Take a chance.
I'm gonna open them all up.
Okay.
That's how it's been on all the other ASRock boards. Ah, and they do tell us if you can zoom in right there. Can you zoom in more?
There you go.
Yeah, A1,
You see how it says
A2, yeah, B1.
DDR5 A1, DDR5 A2?
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, there's a line.
Ooh.
Whoops, I hit
Yeah.
a big belly.
Yeah.
Hit the space bar. Where was I?
Right there.
There's a line connecting A2 and B2. It says first.
Mm-hmm.
What that's telling you is if you're only installing 2 RAM modules,
Put them in there.
start with those 2 sockets. Okay. This is 32 gig OLOY DDR5 6000 speed. Again, my intention is to replace this with 64 gig for this client.
Does it come with plastic?
I don't think so.
Okay, metal.
The G-Skill RAM did, but this one
Doesn't
does
look
not
like
appear
it.
to. And OLOY being sort of a lesser known brand, priced very aggressively. I think you can get 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 for like $92.
Hmm.
Pretty cheap for DDR5. So we'll line it into the socket and then push down, and we'll close these other retention levers up. That means we can now put our heatsink on.
32 gigs right there.
David Graham with a $5 super chat says, working out of the foam looks too painful. I would prefer to book on top. No, it hasn't caused the same problem for me at all. Now, with that done, once again, you can see these are the screws we're going to have to turn.
Okay.
One there, there's one there. Hence, that's why the center has to come out. And those are going to screw down into here. So when I rotate this like so, it'll line up perfectly. And let me make sure I've got enough clearance on the RAM. We're plenty good.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So now it's rubber glove time. Where's Mitch going? Come back, Mitch. Well, actually, these are not rubber. These are nitrile.
Or nitrile. Mhm.
Nitrile,
Nitrile.
powder-free, non-sterile, really thin. These are, I think, what are these, 3 millionths of an inch? 3 mils? Let's see. I like to get the 3s. The thicker the glove is, the harder it is to tear, but then the more you can't really feel. So I get them 3, I want to say 3 mils is my preference.
Are you ready?
Yeah, you want to have Uncle Mitch. Come on, muscles. You're not going to put it on there?
Oh, can I?
Yeah, yeah.
Sweet. All right. Can't take this pressure.
And just a pea size, because you're going to spread it out, or can I move it around a
You
little
can move
bit?
it around.
Move it around a little bit.
That's good right there.
Okay.
No, no more.
No
No, no,
more?
no, no. Okay. So Mitch got a little generous with the thermal compound. There was enough for 2 applications.
Oh,
Not anymore.
You didn't say that. All right.
That's all right.
I'll get you a second glove. All right.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
So what I'm going to do is just use a clean finger,
Okay.
and we'll clean up some of that excess.
And take another glove.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people have different methods for applying their thermal compound, and none of those people are building computers for my customers or answering my customer support questions or dealing with warranty calls. So I don't listen to how anybody else does it. It's a little watery.
Yeah.
I like to ensure 100% CPU coverage. And by just squishing the thermal compound down, I can guarantee you're going to be left with areas of the CPU heatsink that are not covered. And you'll never know, because once you put the heatsink on top, you'll never see it. So the only way I can have peace of mind and know that my warranty for my client is less likely going to be called for any sort of a CPU heat related problem.
And as Uncle Carey has proven, you do not want to get that on your fingers or on your clothes.
So you see I got a lot of excess there.
Okay. Sorry. The glove.
That's all right. I'll take it out of your check.
Okay.
Thank you. Now to put the heatsink on, there's a plastic piece. There's a little tab they want you to pull. See if we can pick it up on the camera. But right here.
Okay.
And wait until you're ready to do the install before you peel this off. That's going to keep that pristine. No dust, no oils from your finger or fingerprints. That's what that funny connector was. It's the power of the other fan. Geez. What would you do if this fan goes out? Are you going to... Well, I see a potential problem with this design. This fan plugs into the other fan. And that is a unique plug that only bequiet makes. And it's got to be a short cable or you're going to have a lot of excess. We're going to set this down approximately lining up the screws with the mount points, and then we'll use the included driver. And we just want to get them started. I'm at a bit of a funky angle, so bear with me here. Give that a couple of turns. Come to the other side. Give that one a couple turns. Now we try and tighten them down about evenly. I do kind of wish this screwdriver a little more, like a bigger handle and a softer handle, because it's hard to get any leverage on this. It feels very thin and narrow. And you're going to turn these screws until they just don't turn anymore.
Don't wrench it down.
Yeah, you absolutely do want to wrench it down until
Stops.
they will sort of bottom out and you can't take them any further. And then if you try and push them further, you'll probably snap the screws head off. So now we take this piece here, slide it down. Remember that piece normally off. Should lock in. Now, if you notice on the top, we have a switch. See right here?
Okay.
We have what appears to be quiet or performance. So we'll put it on, let's put on performance and see how loud it gets first.
Okay.
And then this little magnetic piece goes on, locks right in. Now, when it comes to the cabling, remember I thought that was some kind of an ARGB or something. That is how the other fan plugs in. Okay, so this fan plugs into the motherboard, the CPU power. Now I'm going to go ahead and take it out of here because now the foam is getting in my way. And if you notice how convenient, we have two ARGB headers right there. How convenient is that? So we can take this ARGB header right here, twist it. And I'll clean up the cabling on this a little later. Just want to make sure if this is even going to work. So that hooks up our RGB. And then for CPU fan, we're going to go onto one of these two headers right here. I know it's really dark. Trust me, I'm having a hard time seeing it myself. And that's going to power both fans like so. Yeah, there's pretty good clearance there.
Quite fantastic.
Yeah.
It almost looks gold. Oh, it's reflecting the color of the cardboard. I see. Okay, so we ready to test fire this bad boy? I think we got everything in there, right?
Okay.
All right, let's go to camera 1 and give camera girl a break. Okay, you're clear, camera girl. Thank you, camera girl.
You're welcome.
All right.
Chat loves those close-ups.
She's got a pretty steady hand today. Kept her away from the coffee.
It's coffee.
Coffee.
All right.
All right, so power supply.
Just the one here? I mean,
yeah, that's 750. Yeah, because that's got the 2 EPS power connectors. And I think I will turn this way for. It's our big 24-pin cable. I can't see so good.
yeah.
All right, there's that. And then there's our 2 EPS power cables. Here. Clean up that cabling a little later, assuming this cooler is going to do the trick. Which I'm very hopeful that it will. I got to quit hitting the keyboard. Okay, power. No matter where I move this keyboard, it is in the way. I think
We're here.
turn the-
Right here.
I'm going to turn the keyboard off.
Okay.
Set it down. All right. And then the screwdriver and then all the other spare parts and instructions will go in the motherboard box. We'll make sure the power supply is in the off position. If you're confused with the 0 and the 1 or the I, O is for off and I is for ignition. Easy way to remember.
Okay.
As long as you know O is off, then the other way, regardless of what it is,
And then are you
is
gonna,
on.
And then are you going to need your little power doodad?
Yeah, we're going to need a power switch.
Very technical power.
You're
on and off
filled with the
doodad.
technical terms today.
Yeah. And you
Stop trying to
Yeah.
impress
You
everybody.
got some more contributions.
Oh, did I
Yeah,
miss
yeah.
some? Okay. So here's our
Power switch.
external power switch. I'll just get there. Oh, let's see what I missed. David Graham contributed $2. He says, my second super chat. Fixed my typo. Missed his typo. David Moore renews membership, now a member for 15 months. He says, Mitch, how many film stars have you worked with? Not including me.
Yeah. That would be maybe 1 or 2. And I wouldn't call them stars. I mean, they were, they were working actors, but
Well, now you've offended them.
yeah. That's why I won't name names. I don't kiss and tell. All right. So
Nick Caffrey contributed to €20. Thank you, Nick. He says, hi, Carey, Marlena, Mitch, and chat. Very late fee. The clock changed in Ireland last weekend.
oh.
And David Graham contributed $2. He said, I meant box top. This is what happens when I work backwards.
Yeah.
So prior to that, David Graham contributed $5. And he says, working out of the foam. Oh, that's where he said it looks too painful.
Yeah.
I just work on the box top. I got it. Yeah, they'll
And
teach their
that's
own,
it.
right? You do it your way, I'll do it my way. And I wouldn't even normally prep a board like this. I would normally go ahead and put the board in the case. But that wouldn't be much for you guys
visually to see if I did it that way.
And there's
So-
Captain Blinsky with a $5 contribution.
Right on. Thank
Saying,
you.
here you go. Here you go.
Thank you, Captain Blinsky.
Ben says if there's smoke, it'll be expensive smoke.
It will be some of the most expensive.
Amen, brother.
All right, so we'll
Okay.
get this keyboard and mouse out of here. It's in somewhere, anywhere.
What do you think?
Yeah, but now you're going to need your other keyboard to go to a different camera angle, aren't you?
No, I can use the mouse.
Oh, there you go.
So if I hit the power switch to on, let's see if this board has any RGB. It does.
Ooh,
So we've got
okay.
RGB that lit up
Yeah.
here. And we'll go to our HDMI input, which is right here.
Put us in the corner.
Put us in the corner. So you can still see. You guys aren't going to really be able to see the fan spinning as I turn this. Just put this around. All right, you want to do the honors and set the fire? I mean,
Yeah,
test fire?
Indubitably. Red or blue?
Blue.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, very nice.
Spinning. Fan is turning.
Yeah. You can't tell with the middle one, though.
RGB on top of the cooler. Oh, it's pretty subtle.
Yeah.
Now, you smell something burning?
Yeah.
Give us a minute to turn on. Didn't that RAM say it was RGB? Oh, that's not RGB RAM. That's just regular. Okay, I was wondering why the RAM wasn't lighting up. So the board may take 90 seconds to 2 minutes to initialize, right? It's got to, what we call train the memory in the CPU. And then once it does that, it sets those settings in the BIOS and then restarts.
Be patient.
Now, it's got nothing to boot to. The NVMe drive we put in is brand new. It doesn't have a partition. It doesn't have a format. They don't know if we're putting it in a Mac or a Linux system or a NAS unit. So the manufacturers ship it completely blank. With the settings now programmed into it, it should restart one more time. And realizing it has no bootable options, it should just default us into the BIOS. So be sure and give your first power on enough time.
And then will you check to see whether it's, well, the board's new, so the BIOS has got to be probably all up to date. You would
Not
think.
necessarily.
Never assume.
Not necessarily. Let's see what it says the BIOS
This
version
is-
is once we get in here. So that looks like it says, I have to walk up there to read it. It says it is, well, first of all, it sees our i9 14900K. We're BIOS version 2.03. So what I need to do is open up browser window here. Now I need the keyboard so I can type in this model number, which is definitely need Carey. This is a ASRock
Z790.
Z790. What's the rest of it?
Riptide.
Riptide.
Wi-Fi.
Okay, and the first link Google presents us with is ASRock's website. And I will go to the window share here so you guys can see what I'm seeing. And we're going to scroll down to support. And then we'll go to BIOS. The latest BIOS version, you'll see there's only two BIOSes. 2.03 was the apparent original that we have, and there has since been a 3.01.
Oh,
So we'll go ahead and grab that. Oh, wait, what's this up here say? Improved memory compatibility. Oh, it's a beta BIOS. I'm going to stay away from the beta. We don't seem to be having any memory compatible compatibility issues. We'll go ahead and download this BIOS file. It downloads a zip file, which I'm going to extract. And then I'm just going to grab a blank flash drive here. I have these really cheap 2 gig flash drives. And they're perfect for flashing BIOSes. They're completely blank. So what I'm going to do is we'll go back over to camera 1 here. Just bear with me here for a minute as I sort through all of my options. We'll go full screen on camera 1. Plug my blank flash drive into any of the USB ports. Give that a second. And then it should appear here in silly me, wrong computer. So
Yeah, don't you always download it to the streamer?
yeah, but I'm on this machine here.
Oh,
so
okay.
what I need to do is simply turn off camera 1. Oh wait, no, you're right. I did download it to the
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you are correct. I did download it to the streamer.
Streamer.
So let me go back to camera 1. That's exactly what I did. I need to plug this into the streamer just for a minute to copy that BIOS ROM file.
Just like always. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You'd think I'd know better at this point. It's a small file.
Boom.
It's what?
16. Can't read that. KB, MB.
16 megs. All right, and with that, we can take this out, plug it into any USB port over here. All right, now check this out. I shouldn't even have to reboot. If I go over to my HDMI input, let's see, you can go full screen. You do see there's an option for instant flash right
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Sorry, I got to use the right mouse. Instant flash right there.
Yep.
Click it. It says BitLocker's got to be off. We haven't installed Windows yet, so this is not an issue. Click yes. It automatically finds
Mm-hmm.
that file because it's like I say, the other drive isn't even partitioned or formatted. So we hit update. You want update? Yes. Do not power off during the update. And we're off to the races updating.
No touchy. Mm-hmm.
Did I put this fan in performance mode or quiet?
Performance. Because you want.
I don't hear it at all.
No, neither do I.
So once we get this done, we'll install Windows 11 on there right quick. We've got the 23H2 bootable media now. Once that's done, we'll run Prime 95 on it and see if
If it ramps up, yeah.
So the fact that the cooler, the RGB on that's so subtle, it won't bother me to hide it in a 200R. It is pretty tall though. So
Yeah.
you're concerned about will it fit the depth of a 200R? We'll find out. Not today.
If it does, it's going to be close. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Close is allowed.
Yeah.
We don't want it to make content
No.
because if it makes contact, it could
Right.
vibrate and
Yeah.
the customer could complain of noise, you know, when the fan ramps up. So, but as long as there's a millimeter of space between them, we're good.
David Graham, Mitch is on the ball.
Yeah, he's on it today.
Sharp as a bowling ball. Okay, so
I'm going to get a cold Gatorade. You want anything?
Water, please.
Water?
Water. I'm parched.
I'm allergic to water. If I get too much of it, I drown.
yeah.
You have a dad joke for us?
I do. Are you? Let me think. Thank you. I got to think.
I saw you were on eBay today,
Okay.
but nobody bought you, so I guess you'll be on sale again tomorrow.
Mm.
But programming success. Press enter to reboot system. I'm going to start talking like Matt Berry. Programming success. Press enter to reboot system. Oh, wrong keyboard. Gotta use that keyboard. Apparently that keyboard's not going to work either. I'm going to click OK. How about that? All right, so now it says no signal. System's rebooting. This BIOS update may still have work to do. So patience, let it do what it's going to do. It may power off and on
a couple of times, maybe. And if it does, that would be perfectly normal. Let me go back over to turn camera 1 on at the same time, and you can put camera 1. Take that long. See what we haven't missed anything. So it's still processing. This is all totally normal.
And how many times might it click off on and off? A couple of times?
So it depends on the make and the model. I've seen them click on and off 3 times.
Oh.
Literally where it's on, off, on, off, on, off, on. So this case here, we're getting our first, as far as I can tell, power on, but you see it just resetting it. So that is normal. I've seen people really screw up their systems by thinking there's something wrong when there isn't, and then they make something wrong when there wasn't. Mm-hmm. So if you just leave it alone, you're less likely going to have any problem. Patience, patience. Rich Lego said the BIOS setting has the cooler set to liquid in the BIOS. Oh, I appreciate the heads up on that. We'll change that. Gil Garcia joins us. He says, sorry, I'm late. Welcome in, Gil.
Happy Friday.
All right. Well, I see CPU fan right here. It's got the RPMs on the fan.
Okay.
Go full screen. CPU fan 959. CPU cooler type and power preset. Click on that. Click. Air cooling 125 watts. That's it. I guess you just leave it on auto. How about that? And then, oh, you can turn the RGB off. You know, when the system's off, you don't have to have the RGB staying on. That's how it's set by default. And then let's see, save, I guess, save and exit. Yep. Our BIOS version, it did say 3.01. Able to point that out. And as soon as this posts again, I'll remove the flash drive. I'll set it aside because I'm going to erase it. I think that's a good price, $250 for this board, considering it's Wi-Fi 7 and supports Gen 5.
2 monitors for sure, 3 if you go through USB. You think?
Yeah. But probably for this client, I'll throw a very inexpensive GPU in there that'll support 3 monitors.
And DisplayPort is just as good as HDMI?
It's supposed to be better.
Really?
Yeah, for higher resolutions. And also for some copyrighted, copy protected stuff. Sometimes it requires DisplayPort to prevent you from copying the media that's playing through it. I think you get higher resolutions and higher refresh rates. DisplayPort. I haven't kept up on that, so I'm not exactly sure how HDMI has kept up.
Yeah.
So here's our Windows 11 bootable media. I recently created this since the 23H2 ISO image is now available. If you have your own Windows 11 installation media, I strongly recommend you download the Microsoft Windows Media Creation Tool and replace your media with an updated version so you won't have to install all the updates up to 23H2. And I'm going to use it for the first time. And I used Rufus, actually downloaded the ISO from Microsoft, and I used this program Rufus to make the flash drive image. And it has options you can select, like to not require a Microsoft account, so I don't have to do the F10 thing, Shift F10, and to disable the automatic BitLocker encryption by default, turn that off. There's also a checkbox to bypass the security checks, but that's just dumb. Anyway, with that done, I will hit Control-Alt-Delete. And now the only thing it has that's bootable is that flash drive, that Windows 11 install. And if I made it right, it should boot and we should begin our Windows 11 installation the same way we've always done before. You can't really tell 23H2 from any previous version from the installation. Other than the media itself was larger. It grew from like 4.6 gigs to 6.1 gigs.
Waiting for the spinny. Where's the spinny?
Cool logo.
Yeah.
All right. It should be a fast install. Got that Gen 5 NVMe in there, the 14900K processor that can hit 6 gigahertz. I don't have a product key, but I will be buying a product key from VIP CDK deals. And I will buy a product key for Windows 10 Pro because a Windows 10 Pro key is cheaper and works on Windows 11 Pro. Next. Agree to the license agreement. Next. Custom. Always, always custom. These are 2 terabyte Gen 5 NVMe. Hit next. It's now going to partition that, format those partitions, and copy over the Windows installation files. Once it does that, it'll reboot, and it will use those Windows installation files to actually begin our Windows install. At that point, we don't even need the flash drive plugged in anymore. I usually just leave it alone until it's done, but after the first boot, it's basically done. But look how fast this is moving along here.
Yeah.
Actually, it hasn't moved at all. Copying Windows files, 0%. You're probably going to blink and you're going to miss this. There it goes. Did you see it? And then it gets the file, after it copies them, it extracts them basically. It gets them ready for installation. So there we're using, some processor and memory. This is a nice burn-in test if you can get Windows installed nice and clean. So I don't like cloning on a new system because it might hide problems the system has. Doing a clean install of Windows is a great way to test if your RAM and CPU are working. It can often expose problems because it's the installation process can really utilize a lot of processing power. And while I'm not suggesting it's a replacement for a burn-in, it's a great, if it installs, you're probably going to be fine. Odds of you having a RAM problem or other issue other than heat related are very, very rare. So that's why I say doing a clean install has a number of benefits, not the least of which is making sure that all your new hardware works correctly. I understand why people want to clone and save themselves the effort of reinstalling stuff, but then you end up with whatever problems you had that caused you to upgrade to begin with, you just potentially carried those problems right over to your new build. All right, so we're ready on our, is that our second boot or is that our first boot? I lost track. There we go. Yeah, I think this is way more power than the customer needs, but the customer might surprise me and say, build me 2 more like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm liking the cooler. It's a massive.
Well, but on a 14900K, you need a serious cooler. You can't go cheap on your cooler and go expensive on your CPU. One of the ways they're able to get the power out of the CPU is they're drawing more power. And when they draw more power, they generate more heat. It's like, I can get you more horsepower in your car, but it's going to guzzle gas, and we're probably going to need a bigger radiator. And again, I don't know that this cooler is going to be enough, even as big as it is. But that's what we're about to find out next. Let's see, scroll through the chat here while we're waiting.
Mitch, do you feel refreshed after your trip? It took about 10 days to kind of get back on Arizona time and get resettled in, and yeah.
Lauren wants to know, is 10.5 limited to 10 gigabits per second? No, I think its limit is 15,000. Pretty sure.
And there we are.
We just haven't got the technology yet to ramp it up to 15, but probably this time next year, all of them will probably be 15. All right, United States, yes. US, skip that. I don't have internet.
Once,
I don't have
twice.
internet. Notice I didn't have to do the Shift F10
Yeah.
thing. Username. You can even have Rufus put the username in for you. I'll put user, blank password. I like to keep location settings on, and you can turn all this telemetry off with a checkbox in Rufus too. It gives you like 6 different checkboxes when you're creating your install media. So you don't have to like get in and edit files and stuff, which
That's a free tool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Version 4.3, very small, portable tool, and it's great. Peter VZ with a €1 contribution. Thank you, Peter. We're in our final stages of the Windows 11 install. And then I can look and see if our Ethernet adapter was detected by Windows. That can be a problem with these brand new motherboards, and the latest technology is the drivers. We all get spoiled by Windows loading drivers for us, but if you've got cutting edge brand new hardware, you'll have to load the driver another way, whether you download it from the manufacturer's site on another computer with the files on a flash drive, or temporarily hook yourself up to the Wi-Fi, or cheat like I do and just plug a USB to Wi-Fi, USB to Ethernet adapter that does have drivers built in, and then use that to download the drivers for the built-in network card, if that's a problem, which we'll find out. David Graham with $2 super chat says, great show. Thank you, David. Yeah, I shouted out Peter already. Thank you again, Peter. Now, if I right-click on the Start menu and go to Device Manager, I'm just curious if it sees our network adapter. See here, it says Network Controller.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess our network adapter, if we plug the network cable into it, it's not going to work. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Windows 11 installation media out. I'm going to look in this drawer for my little USB to Ethernet adapter that has drivers built in.
I was going to say plug in the Ethernet just for fun to see whether it sees anything or not. But
Well,
go
I
ahead.
can see here it says network controller, unless that's the Wi-Fi. But no, the Wi-Fi it already saw, didn't it? Didn't it ask us to connect?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So yeah, you go ahead and use that. Yeah.
So I'm going to grab the Ethernet cable from this side of the table. Yeah. And then hopefully that little globe down in the right corner will become a little screen.
Little TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
Second. Bueller.
There we go. And now, Windows Update. Oh, and if we go to System, you'll see that this is Windows 23H2.
Okay.
Do you want to install latest driver? Oh, I like that ASRock does that. I'll say yes. Accept the license agreement. Continue. As long as they're not going to give me any
Bloatware.
advertising. Yeah. Yes. So let me walk up to the screen and take a look at it. I can't read it.
Jason Willis has a Rufus link. Thank you, Jason.
All right, so we've got the INF driver, the VGA driver, the audio driver, the management engine driver, the Bluetooth, wireless LAN, and LAN driver. Great. So do me a favor, Mitch, and click right where it says.
Which mouse? The left or the right?
Yeah, the mouse right there. And go to Update. Give that one click. And then click Yes. Okay, and then we just stand back and let the system load all the drivers for us.
Well, that was pretty nice of ASRock.
Right?
Yeah.
So while we're waiting, if you guys have any comments, questions,
Smoke them if you got them. All right. So,
Lawrence says, so double every NVMe generation. Yes, that's how it works. Just like with SATA, we had SATA 150, and then SATA 300, and then SATA 600, which was the last. that saturated and maximized the most SATA could do. And with even when you look at storage capacities, there were 64 gig storage drives on NVMe, then 128s, 256s, 512s, 1024 or 1 terabyte, then 2 terabytes, then 4, then 8. Next will be 16 and 32 and 64. And as such, the speeds double. Computers, it's all very easy. It always just doubles. All right. Anybody else have any? If you've asked questions earlier, we didn't see them. So now this is the time to ask. Is the PCIe slot Gen 5? It is Gen 5. So,
Well, that's thinking. Mitch, did anything odd happen on your trip? No, but I'll tell you, I was in Hoi An getting my suits tailor-made, and I left the place of business called Peace, P-E-A-C-E, Peace Tailors, and I was walking back to the hotel, and just a rain where it just deluged. I mean, pouring down rain, and I didn't have an umbrella, so I kind of jumped under an awning and figured, oh, it'll be done in 10 minutes. I stood there for literally 45 minutes, and I was sweating because I was using my phone and Google Maps to direct me back to the hotel, and my battery was getting less and less and less. And I'm thinking, if that phone dies, I won't know. I won't know. I know the name of it because I always get a business card, you know, from the front desk, so I could show somebody and they could point me. But I was sweating, and finally, a guy for I don't know $2, he gave me a plastic kind of
Poncho?
Poncho, and then some guy on a motorcycle. The rain was still raining, but it wasn't deluge. And finally, some motorcycle guy pulled up, and I just showed him on my phone. I said, "Can you take me there?" I said, "It's couldn't be more than I don't know." A 5-minute ride. And he went, yeah. So I jumped on the back and was scared for my life, with that slicky roads and those thin motor scooter tires. But he got me back to the hotel, and I'm like, I'll never walk around any place without a day backpack with a power bank and a cable in it ever again. It's just, when I was on walk to the tailors, I'm like, I don't need the backpack and I don't need an umbrella. And that was a valuable lesson to learn. No, always carry a travel umbrella, even during a sunny day, because you can use it while you're walking around as shade. I mean, so I'm like,
certainly see that enough here in Phoenix.
Yeah, so you travel, you have your suitcase, but you always bring a very lightweight day bag, is what I call it, that you put, your snacks in, your power bank, your cable, your travel umbrella, and whatever else you want in there, and your travel water bottle that I had in there with water. So I don't know. I just thought, the rain will stop in 10 minutes. No, I just stood there. Luckily, whoever owned the store didn't mind me there, because you literally, had I stepped out of that awning, I'd have been like a shower in like 2 minutes, from head to toe, soaking wet. So, yeah.
Shane Perkins wants to know, because this has 8 SATA ports, would you lose some M.2s due to the shared data connection? That's pretty much guaranteed. I mean, this isn't a server. It's not who would be insane to put 8 SATA drives and, 4 or 5, whatever, M.2s? I mean, that's not really what this is designed to do. It's really designed for a little of one and a little of the other. It's not meant for you to intentionally fill up. I'm sure the owner's manual details which of the SATA ports is disabled based on which of the M.2s you're using. And that should be standard on every motherboard ever made. I'm not aware of any board where you can utilize all the M.2s and all of the SATAs. And I also can't understand why anybody in their right mind would do that. I'd have to think you're just not in your right mind, because the M.2s are so far superior. I don't know why you would be sticking around to have that many. I understand if you have a couple of SATAs, and you can.
And if I had 3 NVMEs on the board, I could put it in RAID. if I wanted to.
I didn't check that. I don't know.
Oh, I'm just asking. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
no, it's a
curious.
fair
Yeah,
question.
you know.
We'd have to go back in the BIOS to take a look.
Look,
Or once again, back in the motherboard manual. Now you guys can pull this motherboard manual up by going to the ASRock website, pulling up this model board, going to support under manuals. You can load that up and see through the indexing, and it'll explain to you which SATA ports will be sharing data paths with M.2s. And it's usually not more than 2 SATA ports. So it's not like you're going to lose much.
because remember in the old days, we wanted to put just our Windows on our main drive and then put everything else,
Yeah.
programs, so that way, like you said, if you had to reinstall Windows, everything else was on a separate drive. So it was just easy to, yeah, I'll just reboot that and reinstall Windows and, you know, maybe my problems will be gone. But people just, you know, you don't do that anymore. They come in 1, 2, 4 terabytes.
Yeah, well, we had reasons for doing that, but the technology has advanced since then. So, you know, sort of defeats the purpose to get yourself a brand new modern computer and then use it like it was 20 years old. You know, take advantage of the technology and you know, not only does the technology grow, but hopefully you're going to grow with it. I want to get rid of that search icon down there.
Mitch, if
Search.
Toto ever goes to the Sphere in Las Vegas, will you go in a heartbeat?
Yeah, they're not a big enough band.
No.
They won't pull
Yeah.
an audience large enough
No.
to justify
Yeah.
that.
But the next time I'm in Vegas, I'm going to pay the $40 or $50 to take a tour of it because I'll bet the inside is to die for. You know, they'll run.
Get a free tour on YouTube.
Yeah, that's
Doesn't cost you a penny.
yeah.
They got
watched
that
the-
F1 race going on that in
Yeah,
Las Vegas. They got the
yeah.
whole strip screwed up.
It's terrible.
Businesses are
Yeah.
struggling that people,
Yeah,
gas stations even, they're getting,
Yeah.
you know, a dozen customers a day now because they
Yeah.
can't
and
conveniently get
and then
in and
the,
out.
the windows they're like blocking so you can't see over, you know, to
Oh,
watch the race.
So
yeah,
they have the overpass
Yeah.
that you can walk across,
cross
and they don't want people walking on the overpass
Yeah,
and,
and
then watching
watching
the race
for
for
free.
free as the cars drive underneath
But
you.
so-
So they put the vinyl, and people have been ripping the vinyl
yeah,
off.
over the glass.
And they're like, look, it's fine you want to put the vinyl up, but could you wait until it was closer to race day?
Right.
You know, we're visiting from out of town.
Town.
Some folks there didn't even know this was going on. So imagine
Oh.
their surprise as the strip is all shut down. They're doing all this construction. You know, it's a worldwide.
Yeah. And I don't know when the race is not like this weekend. It's not at the end of November, but I'm like, oh, boy.
Isn't it this weekend?
I don't know. Maybe somebody in chat. So
Let me ask Google.
F1, yeah.
When is F1 Race Vegas? Saturday, November 8th. Oh, you're right. November 18th at 11 p.m.
Oh,
They're racing at night.
that's 3 weeks.
November 16th through the 18th, 2023, the Formula F1 Heineken Silver Las Vegas Grand Prix 2023 will take place November 16th through 18th, 2023, taking over Harmon Avenue, Koval Lane, Las Vegas Boulevard, and others. The Las Vegas Strip Circuit is a street track. How much are tickets? Organizers have said the 3.8-mile-long track will hold up to 105,000 attendees. Standard tickets for the grandstands, bringing the back end of the track furthest from the strip, run $2,000 each, a price that also encompasses all 3 days of the event plus food and drinks. Is it sold out? Yes, regular F1 Las Vegas tickets are sold out.
Bring earplugs. That's all I can say. You don't want tinnitus or tinnitus.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Glad I'm not in Vegas this week or
No.
this
yeah.
month for that matter.
Yeah.
Because you know they're going to have the Thanksgiving holiday that next weekend, and a lot of people will
Yeah.
travel to
But
Vegas.
I think they can tear down. They can get that torn down. You'd be surprised. Those grandstands, you just put more men on the job. But you know, the city's you got to tear this down fast. You know, we want our Thanksgiving customers. Yeah.
I guess I can move this just in case people were kind of curious what was going on. That makes it better or worse, but let's see, I can use that.
Starshine says Christmas is in 52 days. It's on a Monday this year. Ho, ho, ho. So the download speed isn't because of ASRock being slow. It's because the secondary internet connection we've got here at Studio B is slow. Just so you know, that's par for the course. I've been watching the channel since I've been in Studio B. This has been an issue the whole time.
I'm just curious what Cox fiber, when it comes to my neighborhood, what it'll be. If I'm paying 120 for
Oh, how much it's going to be?
yeah, if I'm paying 120 for Gigablast now, which is what, 1,000 down and 35 up, and that's what is it? They call it asymmetrical, 1,000 down and 1,000 up, and that's fast. Ooh. But
yeah, but then they slam the bandwidth limitation on you, the data cap. You're just going to hit your data cap that much faster.
Yeah. I could see 200, but anything over 2, I would have to go, no, I'm good enough.
What, on your upload?
With a Gigablast. No, $200.
Oh, $200 a
Yeah,
month.
for fiber. If it's like 250, I'm gonna nah, I'm out. I mean, that's a bit ridiculous. So
This thing is really quiet. I'm really impressed with.
With 2 fans going in the performance mode.
And then hopefully here, this will be just about done. Can reboot, plug the network into the built-in network controller, and get Prime 95.
I'd be curious to see whether that.
I'm very curious.
But you're gonna have to watch, right? Because you're gonna, if it goes up, you're gonna want to hit cancel.
It's going to protect itself.
Yeah,
regardless.
It'll throttle, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so.
Even to the point of shutting itself
It's
off.
off.
See, you can hear it now.
Yeah.
It's cranking up.
Did Carey dress up for Halloween?
I'm still dressed up.
Yeah, he has in the past. Bob Ross, that was a funny show a couple of years ago. I don't know how he went the whole show without talking with a very soft voice. That would have driven me personally insane, but he did it with that very.
I'm already insane.
Yeah,
You don't have to worry about it.
yeah.
That's the good thing about being crazy is you don't have to worry about going crazy.
Yeah.
Randy Phillips says hello. He says, and hello to you too, Mitch. Left you out.
Howdy, yeah.
All right, we're at there. Okay,
Yep.
So there's our first reboot. I'm going to turn off camera 1 for a second here so we can see the whole screen.
Yeah, it's still spinning. Yeah.
And let me go to screen for you and I. Let's take a look at the device manager. Oh, is it still doing something?
Installing the WLAN.
Oh, okay. Wireless LAN.
Starting again.
Well, you get some idea of the reboot time. And then we can, in theory, I could hook this up wirelessly to Wi-Fi 7 since this is my very first Wi-Fi 7 network interface card. It'll be the first time I can test the Wi-Fi 7 on the TP-Link router that I've had for 6 or 7 months now. Just patiently waiting for a Wi-Fi 7 card to come out.
Yeah.
But one thing at a time.
At the globe, it went back to the TV square. Yeah. Installing more drivers.
Let's see.
Hey, Mitch, with Xfinity, I can pay extra for, no data cap.
Yeah, you can do that
Yeah.
on Cox too. It's like $50 more.
Yeah.
Any way to gouge you,
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's done. Click OK. Right-click the Start menu. Go to Device Manager. See if everything's happy. Everything looks happy.
Happy.
Okay. So, I'm going to go to Windows Update just to see how many updates there are with 2.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be much. Oh, it's actually quite a bit more than I was expecting.
Do you want to do it over USB? This is the.
Oh, yeah. Well, right now.
Okay.
Actually, I don't think it is too late now.
Oh.
I think we can go ahead. Pull the
Oops.
USB cable. plug the Ethernet cable directly into the motherboard's Ethernet adapter now that the driver's loaded. And we'll see if that little globe in the bottom right corner becomes a little monitor. If it gets initialized and it's working. Yep, perfect. And that should be a 2.5 gig connection. We can go over there and just double check that. Click. Internet settings. Internet. Yeah, 2500 up and down. So we are working at 2.5 gig. That's good. Oh, it's a framework update, I see. And it's like maybe an Intel drive. We start now. That didn't take long. And then I will get my utilities flash drive. We'll copy Prime 95 and HW monitor. See what kind of temps this thing's. This has me freaked out because, as far as I know, there's no hotter chip on the market that Intel makes than this one. Although it's possible the 13900KS could be hotter. Okay, so here we go. Or not. Okay, there we go. There's also been a new update to VLC, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
VLC is,
thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I updated that.
It is now version 3.0.20. Throw that on quick. Grab on Carey's Windows 10 optimizer. We'll throw that on there. We'll grab under PC testing software. We'll grab Crystal Disk Mark and we'll see how fast this Gen 5 SSD is. We want Prime 95. And you know what? I'll grab CPU Z. Well, HW. That's what I want. That. Crystal disk. Let's run Uncle first. So on that. Apply. This will just take a minute and we'll reboot again. It's feeling pretty snappy.
Yeah.
$250 motherboard, $100 with a RAM, $100 cooler, $600 CPU,
NVMe.
$300 NVMe. Okay, I think it was like $269, mistaken, which was the lowest price it had been in a while. So that's the other thing about waiting. Not only will the Gen 5 drives get faster, the prices should come down as well. Unless there's some disaster or something, knock on wood. All right, let's go to Crystal Disk Info, or sorry, Crystal Disk Mark. Let's take a look at what these numbers. That run.
Mitch, did you get a chance to go to Con Ron Bay in Vietnam? Never heard of it. I went to Halong Bay, north of Hanoi.
Look at those numbers.
Of course. Oh.
I wasn't getting that on a RAID NVMe array.
Ooh.
That's one drive.
Yeah. And Halong Bay on a cruise. That was beautiful. Got to research Africa, Uncle Carey. I really would like to see animals before they're all gone in my lifetime.
Africa's a pretty big place. Was there anywhere in particular?
I don't know. You pay to where they take you out in the tents and they put up their tents and feed you. And, you know, I don't want to go 3 days without bathing, but that's just me. I don't mind a couple of overnights, but then I want to
Yeah.
go back to a hotel. And so, but you know, they got to get you up early in the morning when the animals are, you know, walking
Yeah.
around because they, you know. How much did the suits cost? I got a tailor-made shirt, slacks, and a sports jacket for $150. I got 2 of them, and then I got a pair of custom-made dress shoes that are killing my feet for $90. But I put some cedar shoe trees in them. I'm going to try to stretch them a little bit, and then I'll try them again. And if they're still killing me, then I'll take them to my shoe man. They've got, you know, machines that can stretch them much more than, you know, cedar shoe trees, and so. Yeah, my agent had a party Monday night. She's been in the business for 35 years. Invited all of her talent, you know, to come to a restaurant and good food and booze.
You
And,
were there to be the doorman? or-
yeah, I was
I'm kidding.
with people because she wanted everyone to have name tags.
Yeah.
Because she can't know
So
possibly
you're
all.
number one she relied on? She called
So,
you and said,
yeah.
hey.
Well, I was the sharpest dressed because I wore one of my navy blue suit.
Ah, you got to break
Yeah,
in the...
Yeah, and she's like, "Whew, aren't you styling?" I'm like, "Feel that cloth as thin as Kleenex." No. The guy said, "Do not take this to be dry clean because you know they use dry cleans here in the States use chemicals, and probably after about 2 dry cleans, the thing will fall apart." So I'm like, no, I don't wear them much, and only in the cool weather, so I'm not perspiring in them. But I should have had somebody take a picture because at least the gals were giving me glances.
Yeah, well, you missed it.
Even though I have zero game, I mean, at least they were looking because a lot of the guys, you know, were the kind of young 20-something actors, you know, dressed like slobs because they think it's hip, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. So,
Starshine says you can stretch the shoes at the tailor altering place. I got some boots stretched. I recommended oiling the shoes a few days before stretching them
Okay.
to supple them.
okay, yeah, that's a thought too. I've got leather conditioner, so.
Look at that, $11,595 on the rights. Oh,
Yeah.
that's worth it. All the other Gen 5 drives maxed out at 10,000,
Mm.
and they didn't cost any less. So, you know, why not get the one that's faster?
Yeah.
And of course, they do have a 4 terabyte version, but that's too rich for my blood.
Yep.
So, as soon as this is done, we can start Prime 95, and we'll see where that takes us. Just about ready for that,
That is impressive.
right?
Oh,
Wow.
12,000.
All you got to do is spend money to get there.
Yeah.
I need a picture.
I'm not stopping you.
Oh, that's fast. Oh, a need for speed.
Okay, our test is almost done. You see at the top of the window there, it shows
Okay.
4 of 5, 5 of 5. And then this word stop, that all goes back to default when the test is done. That's how you know the test is over. Turn off the lights?
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead. We're not on the camera, so you can turn off the other lights too.
This one?
Yeah. How's that?
Well, that's nice that you have a way to turn it off, you know, because like you said, it seems pointless in a $200 to just
Yeah.
have it going. I mean, Aziz, lights. Carey and I, big movie buffs.
All right, so there's all of our cores. Holy cow. Let's see. I see some temps here for different. Doesn't tell me much of anything. Frequencies. See, core temperature. Oh, it's nice and cool.
Look at that frequency. It's just shy of 6,000. Performance cores. I'm sure the E cores are not too hot. We're running a very nice temperature right now. So I'm going to go ahead and start Prime 95. Let me click no thanks on that. And go. Woo. Now, let's keep an eye on these temps and see how long this takes before the fire starts.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's already in the 70s. That didn't take long.
And the fans ramped up.
Yeah. I'm going to walk a little closer to the monitor so I can keep an eye on those temps. It looks like we already hit 80.
Good boy.
83. You know, that's just one core, one of the performance cores. All the other cores are running, most of the other cores are running nice and cool. The E cores, of course, I'm not worried about those. They're not high performance. We're worried about those 8 performance cores.
And be honest, when would you ever pound a CPU?
Oh, this is a very unrealistic test.
Yeah,
but even still, having it run for a minute or two at high performance, certainly reasonable and would be under the normal everyday wear and tear.
Even with video editing, 4K, 8K, would you pound it?
Yeah. Well, video editing, it could be pretty rough.
Yeah, when you're rendering. Yeah.
So we're 87 right now is the highest. Boy, it got there quick. So I guess while that's running, we can put camera 1 back on. Back. 1. Oops. Sounds over here. I mean, noise-wise, that's not bad, and especially once it's in a case. But as far as cooling goes, yikes, we already hit 100 degrees Celsius on 4.7. So I was worried about this. I was worried that cooler was not going to be enough to cool it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the test because we didn't even go 2 minutes and we've already overheated. So I'm going to go ahead and go to, let's go full screen here for a second so I can see it. And then I'll stop this test and allow this bad boy to cool down. So stop. So whether or not this cooler would fit in the 200R is now irrelevant because it just isn't going to be adequate for my needs. And the other cooler, the other one, bequiet sent, is a 10 watt less TDP. So it's not going to cool any better than this. So that's not going to work for us, unfortunately.
Wow, wow, wow.
But you see, it's already cooled down here significantly. So this is a problem. When you spend this kind of money and you want this bleeding edge tech and you want to be faster than everybody else, you are going to have to open up the wallet some more to get some cooling to get this thing appropriately cooled. I am concerned it's going to really take a liquid cooler to keep this thing under control. I don't necessarily want to go any bigger on the cooler. And we were on the performance side, right? Not on the quiet side. Yep. So that's the best this is going to perform. Yeah, switches on P. So, I will have to look for some other air cooling potentials. So if I can't get this thing air cooled, I likely will not sell it to the customer. Even though the customer wants the best thing they can get, the most powerful thing. But they also don't want to deal with a liquid cooler. So then the question is, okay, so what can we get them that meets these requirements? And really the money is not the problem. It's just a matter of we're trying to determine if it makes sense for them to have a machine that costs this much. Are they going to see the difference? The only way to know is to put it in their hands and let them use it. And they will say, yes, we want more like this, or no, you were correct, Carey. The i5 13500 and this I suspect are going to be likely imperceptible. So this may end up being a different project altogether. Now, I might end up using like an NZXT H7 and like an RGB cooler and make this more of a showpiece gaming computer. But I will do a little more research on the air coolers just to see if there's something else out there. But I knew this was going to be if there was a thing that was going to stop me, it was going to be the cooling. Any of the 900K processors from any generation are always difficult to cool. I mean, this is a 9900K in the streamer, and you see we've got an NZXT cooler. So yeah, it did not fare well. So let me go full screen on camera 1. We've gone just a little over 2 hours, about 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think this is a good place for us to call it quits. And I need to do a little research. If you guys know of an air cooler that works well with the 14900K, please post it in the comments below the video. And let's see.
And while Carey's looking at chat, I have a little acting gig coming up here the first week of December, where every Monday evening I have an acting class where there's about 15 students.
Sorry about that.
And what we're going to do is we're going to spoof Jerry Springer show, and I'm going to call it the Mitch Dinger show. So I'm actually Mitch Dinger, and we're going to shoot it where it's not going to be the actual show where the crazy people are on the stage and the security guards, and because then you would need an audience. That's too much. So it's basically me in the parking lot walking into the office, kind of into my office, and then there's people kind of waiting to audition. So then this past 3 or 4 weeks, we paired up people as pairs, whether it's husband and wife or this or that, and we've kind of improv'd what literally just 30-second funny snippets of them either arguing or things like that.
Yeah.
And we're going to kind of intersperse those with me in my office, and my producer is, I'm like, what's today? I'm marrying my third cousin twice removed. No, we got this, and this is going to be great. And I just there with a martini and a cigarette, which I'm not a smoker, so that'll be tough. Hope
you get one of those fake ones that's liquid water vapor.
Yeah, water vapor is what I'm thinking. But yeah, looking forward to shooting it. The other students are a little jealous because they have improv where mine won't be much improv. I'm sitting in a car in the parking lot, smoking a cigarette, flick it, walking in there, kind of walking past the people to my office, and then the producer, walks in. So, I don't have to really memorize any official lines, but looking forward to actually. Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, the Mitch Dinger show. So I won't wear these glasses. I've actually got a pair similar. We've been looking at Jerry Springer right
Style.
now. Yeah, right now we're trying to find a suit or a sports jacket because the director wants it to kind of take place in the 90s. So my producer is this wild lady with, wild colors in her hair and either cat's eye glasses, So just hounding me, but yeah, looking forward to getting back in front of the camera and action and cut. It's what I live for.
Thanks again to the Super Chat contributions from Paul O'Brien and Ben Laird, as well as 3D Everything and Rick Lakes. And a shout out and thank you to our good friend Buster, Peter Laycock out there in Scotland. Thank you for your continued support. Samuel Kowalski and BLD0550, thank you for your super chats, as well as Mark Gaines and Ian Gooch, Ben Laird again, and Paul Connolly joining us all the way from Australia. Welcome in new member David Ice, and a thank you to David Moore for a couple of super chats earlier, as well as David Graham, also a couple of super chats earlier. Nick Caffrey, thank you for your super chat contribution.
And David Moore renewed his membership, now on month 15. David Graham again with another super chat there, and Channel Zero joining us from Australia. Also contributes in super chat, as does Captain Blinsky, Peter VZ, and once again, David Graham. And thank you again to John Jack Wilson for the PayPal contribution, and to Elizabeth Dodd for your PayPal contribution, as well as letting us know you received the computer today. Can't wait until you get a chance to test drive it. Tell me what you think of it. I think that covers the contributions. I do expect to do another of the military veteran PC giveaways. Why is the screen missing something? Oh, I see that it's lagging now. So watch for that this week. If you're a veteran in need of a computer, you need to nominate yourself. You cannot nominate anybody else. Each viewer of the channel in the United States has the eligibility to receive a gift from the channel once, and then potentially never again until everybody gets a chance to win, right? Once everybody who's had a chance and has won something, receive something from the channel, if and when we ever hit that, then we can look at, giving away a second thing to somebody. But what I don't want to do is have one person getting everything while everybody else gets nothing. So please keep in mind that when we do the veteran giveaways, they are intended for military veterans or even people in service, like paramedics, fire, police, any of that public service. And that we're trying to help those who will benefit the most, those who are in the most need, versus somebody who just wants an extra computer. So I'm asking that you don't nominate yourself unless you're in a situation where it would greatly improve the quality of your life to have it. So if you nominate yourself for one, please let us know why you should be selected. So again, you've got to be 18 years of age or older. Of course, you can't be a veteran or 18 or older. Never received anything from the channel in the past. And obviously you have to be in the United States. We'll talk more about that later in the week. We'll probably do 2 or 3. And my thanks to the folks like John Jack Wilson and Mortot1210 who have contributed and have specified they would like that to cover the cost of shipping these machines, because they're about $50 a piece to ship.
Yep.
Those are the little ones.
Yep.
Full-size computers, those are $100 to $140 to ship those. So I don't ship those anymore as giveaways, but when people order computers from me, that's a different story. Thanks everybody for hanging out in the chat.
Everyone have a great weekend. Be safe. You can't, be kind.
Marcus wants to know if we can set the power limits in the BIOS lower. Yeah, we probably can, but that's my initial resolution to this, is to try and use it stock. I don't want to overclock it or underclock it or overvolt it or undervolt it. I like it to run as the engineers have intended it to run. It's possible that ASRock has turned the voltage up higher than the engineers recommend, so it's worth going and looking at that, sure. But I suspect, there's only one way you're going to get to 6 gigahertz, and that is you're going to pull more power. And there's just no way around it. You're pulling more power, you're going to generate more. The price you pay for performance. So I need to ideally just look for a better cooler where I can leave all of that alone. Especially if there's a BIOS reset and the customer lives in another state. I can't walk them through adjusting that by hand. So it's another reason I changed from the defaults. If it was being sold locally, that'd be no big deal for me to jump in the car and go over there and do it for them. But yeah, in order to maintain the support for this over the years, definitely don't want to move away from stock settings. All right. I hope everybody has a great Friday. And thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
Thank you, camera girl, for the camera work and the thumbnail. And we'll follow up with this later on this week. We'll see what's going to go on. Still have the serve the home server to get back to. I've got the that project, and I'm waiting for somebody to make some recommendations, because there's all these really smart people that always tell me they already knew the answer.
Yep.
Still, they've all been very quiet. And so, while I'm busy doing other projects anyway, what's good about this is I feel like after a certain amount of time, the viewers at home should be convinced after a certain amount of time that if anybody knew the answer, they would have said it by then. So that if, when we go and go through this, that then when they come out of the woodwork and said, oh, I knew that, you'll know they're full of crap, basically. So I'm trying to find just clever ways to let people come to their own conclusions instead of saying, don't take their word for it. Don't take my word for it. Look at the evidence yourself and come to your own conclusion. I'm sure whatever you conclude is fine by me. So yeah, what do you think?
I like it. Yeah. It's fast. I'll get giddy up and go.
It
Just
booted
like
right
my,
up.
just like my motorcycle. No.
We had no DOA parts.
No.
Everything's running great. Fast Gen 5 NVMe. The way that heatsink goes on is really cool. The fact that they've moved away from the screws for the M.2 drives, welcome change as far as I'm concerned. Our Windows 23 H2 installed without a hitch. And the ASRock being able to go and grab the drivers automatically, it saves a step of manually grabbing drivers and figuring out which ones you need. So all in all, I'm impressed with how this has, how this is evolving, and building's just getting easier and easier.
Yep.
But as Intel continues to just throw more power at things to get it to go faster, I'd like to see Intel come up with some more clever solutions to getting things to go faster, like bigger caches or more logical, I forget what it's called, predictive caching that can actually make the chip run slower, but perform from your perspective, from the user's perspective, it could run markedly faster while consuming less power and being more ecologically friendly. And we got a really cool souvenir box there, which I can add to my, I don't have them up there anymore, do I?
Oh.
I'll add it to my collection of ridiculous overpriced packaging.
Okay.
Intel's really good at that on their high end. And coming up this week, I should have videos. Of course, on Monday, we do members only videos. So if you're a member of the channel, please know that every Monday we do videos at 1 o'clock Phoenix time. Currently, that's Pacific time until daylight saving time takes effect. And those videos are only seen by members. So if you're a new member, you can go back and see all the shows you've missed. But but the public has no access to those videos. They're a much smaller turnout. It's more informal
hangouts.
You get like 40, 50 people in the chat, so it's much calmer. And I really enjoy the Monday videos, so I hope if you're a member, you'll join me on those because they're a different vibe. And then, of course, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, I broadcast as my schedule permits. And I try and do something big like this every Friday. And I'm always live every Friday at 1 o'clock Arizona time.
I just remembered my joke.
Oh.
What do you call a tree who says hi?
What do you call a tree that says hi?
Pleasantry.
Oh.
Sorry, it just I was killing me with a punchline. I had to set up, but my mind is, because I'm old, it's just like, and then all of a sudden when we're just about ready to leave, I'm like, pleasantry.
There it is.
There it is.
Totally worth it.
Yeah. I should have taken my ginkgo biloba, but I forgot.
That's the problem.
That's
with
the
those
problem.
Memory medications. You have to remember to
take them. Yeah.
Thank you for watching. We will see you all again very, very soon. Enjoy your weekend. It'll be a hot one for us. It's going to be in the 90s.
I'm still going riding, but in the morning I'll go not at sunrise, but maybe 7 o'clock. It'll be nice, long sleeve shirt. That's good enough. Half helmet, not a full helmet.
All right. Well, thanks again. We'll see you all very, very soon. Until next time.
Bye for now.
Oh, I didn't hit the right button. Hold on, that doesn't count.
Try to look sincere. Okay.
Where's my outro? Oh, it's right there.
Okay.
Right.
Take two.
Let's try it again.
Yeah, okay.
Until next time.
Bye for now.